All right, and we're back. It's another Neville and Chill. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neville and Chill. I've got got an interesting show planned for tonight. Actually, I'll be honest, it's not really planned. It's pretty spur of the moment. I almost didn't go live tonight. Tuesday night is the regular night for Neville and Chill, and I knew if I was going to do it, it was going to be a solo stream, as I did not have a guest lined up for tonight in particular. But I kind of had this feeling like there's something really powerful, potent, and important that needs to come through tonight. And so, even though I've had a whole day and a whole yoga practice and everything else, and could very easily just be like, we'll do Neville and Chill next week. I'm here. And I'm here to have a little conversation about when we rise, the creator state, and what it means to be the one who rises. All right, so we're going to get started with that in just a moment. I want to give you all a chance to connect here. I don't want to jump in too fast, but I also want to say that tonight is a solo stream and next week is not a solo stream. So next week, I am very excited to announce that I have lined up a guest for next week. Okay, so there's a little bit of a backstory here about who's going to be coming on the podcast here. And so I'm going to tell a bit of that story just to kind of set the stage for what we're going to get into next week. So about 2 years ago, almost like I guess last week was the anniversary, 2 years ago, I hosted a retreat in upstate New York, the Catskill Mountains, at a retreat center called Menla. And the retreat was called the Portal Retreat. Maybe some of you remember me talking about the Portal Retreat from years ago. If you've been following me for a while, definitely talked about it on YouTube. And the Portal Retreat was a week-long retreat that was entirely focused upon state akin to sleep. The practice of entering the portal state and experiencing in imagination what we would experience physically where our dreams already manifested reality. And, while you certainly don't have to go on retreat to practice this, I thought it was a great opportunity to bring a group of people who think this way together and to set aside a specific window of time to practice this together and also get deeper into the teachings and, do some guided meditations and try out some technology, some brainwave entrainment technology that can actually use in that particular retreat. We both used audio technology and we used light. So light and sound. There's a light technology in particular called Neurovisor that uses flickering patterns of light and a neuronal process the scientists call frequency following response to basically through flickering light and stimulus of your visual cortex, and train your brain into that window where your imagination is brilliantly awake and your body is very much asleep and at rest, that hypnagogic state, that state of creation. So obviously you can do it on your own. A lot of people struggle to do it. It sure seems that way. I get a lot of feedback. People say, I really struggled to get that clarity. So, all right, well, let's practice together. That's what the purpose of this retreat was. And also try out some technology. Okay, so people came from all over the world to participate in this retreat, as you can imagine. I mean, who else is doing a SATS retreat in this way? Is kind of a one-time thing, really, one-time opportunity. I'm not saying I won't do another one, but I don't have one on the calendar. That was kind of like the event to really explore SATS. So people came from all over the world. And my next guests on Neville and Chill, the next 2 episodes, are going to be 2 participants in this retreat. And these 2 participants experienced, in their words, a quantum leap as a result of their attendance at this retreat, meaning that they went through a bridge of incidents that dramatically transformed their lives. And so we're going to hear from them next week, and they're going to share their story. And in particular, and I think you're going to really like this, it's a love story. It's a love story. There's actually 2 people that came from opposite sides of the planet and met at the Portal Retreat and fell in love there at the retreat and got engaged shortly after the retreat, got married, and had a child. And that child is now turning 1. Actually, I think tonight he turns 1. If I remember correctly, tonight is his birthday, little Leo. So officially, the retreat had a baby, and that baby's name is Leo. And we're going to hear from Leo's parents. They're going to talk about manifesting love using Neville's techniques and also tell the story of their profound and radical transformation, their quantum leaps in their life in terms of finding each other and really manifesting their dreams in this beautiful way. It's such a unique how we met story. When you have a partner, and you're out and about, people ask, oh, how did you guys meet? That's like the most common thing to be asked if you're in a relationship. And so having a really fun how we met story, that's just beautiful. It's rich to have a very fun how we met story. So we're going to hear that how we met story from them. So Angela is coming on next week. Tamer, her partner, is coming on the following week, and then we'll also hear from both of them. So here's the interesting thing. So remember, I was kind of talking about that neurovisor, which is a brainwave entrainment technology. Okay, so Angela was a student of Neville Goddard, and she traveled from Hong Kong to attend this retreat in upstate New York. Tamer was not a student of Neville, actually didn't know anything about Neville, but was a student of other types of metaphysical practices and a trainer for the company Neurovisor. So he actually brought he was the outside third-party trainer that brought the Neurovisor, several of them, to the event so that people could try them. And so he did a presentation to teach them about the technology and did demos and all that type of stuff. So he has an interesting perspective because he also quantum leaped in his life. And it was also his first time being introduced to Neville, introduced to these ways of thinking, first time really experiencing, the sorts of things that we experience in that retreat. So I think we're going to have some amazing stories coming out of them, the next 2 Neville and Chill sessions. So that's my little promo for that. So like I said, solo stream tonight, the next 2 streams, we will be hearing from these amazing people and getting their stories, their insights. Angela is also a teacher. She teaches people how to manifest love, how to manifest, dare I say, a specific person. That's her specialty. And so she's going to be, because that's her specialty. She's a great teacher. She has a skillful way of relating to these ideas and helping people understand, how to like really connect the dots and make this happen. So she's going to be coming and bringing that next week. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that. I just wanted to get that little, hey, this is what's coming up on Neville and Chill. Tonight is a solo stream, and I've got some things that I want to talk about. But first of all, I want to say hello to everyone that is joining me live on the stream. This is our normal Neville and Chill time, and I just love that all of you just are here for it. So thank you for joining me live. I'm going to take a look at your comments in just a moment. And also, anybody who's listening to the replay, I just wanted to call you out as well and tell you thank you for being here. And also leave a comment below. And, just tell me what you like about Neville and Chill. Do you, what stands out to you? Just kind of give me a feel. We've been doing them for a while. This is episode 16. And my intention is to be really intentional with my content. So I really want to bring things that I feel are valuable, that, you all feel are valuable. And, my intention is to really grow a shared sense of value in these spaces, meaning Neville and Chill, and then also Sunday Mystery School, which, by the way, if you've never heard of Sunday Mystery School, that takes place, it's a live stream, takes place every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Been going for 24 episodes now. It is a masterclass teaching, the type of teaching that typically happens behind closed doors at a very prestigious price point. And we are just making it available because the purpose is to bring the Neville community together. So we're doing that every Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the masterclass of all masterclasses, Sunday Mystery School. So definitely check that out. If you're into metaphysics in any way, shape, or form, Sunday Mystery School is only going to accelerate your journey. Okay, let's see who we've got in the chat. Hello, Tina, walking home. Awesome. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying a lovely evening. And so we have Roxy Style, channel member and a Neville and Chill regular. Hello, Roxy Style. We have Jackie, also a regular here on Neville and Chill. Hi, Jackie. I Am Planet Hermit is with us. Welcome. Hello, hello. Oksana, channel member. Good evening. Awesome. And we've got Fran Angelico Ona, who was our guest last week. Hi, Frank. Always awesome to have you with us. And yes, can you believe it? It's Tuesday already. Time just flies when you're having such a good time. And is that AI King or is that Al King? I can't really tell if that's an AI or an AL, but either way, the King is with us. Hello, welcome. And Rose Gold. Hello from Montreal. Very good. We are not exactly neighbors, but we are in the same region of this beautiful earth that we share, Rose Gold. And I hope you were able to see those phenomenal auroras earlier this week. I guess it was last week? Yeah, it's AI King. All right, very cool. And we have Panay from LA. That kind of rhymes. If I'm saying it correctly, it rhymes. Cool. Thank you for sounding off, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Okay. When we rise, I'm going to get into a little bit of a monologue here. Feel free to keep your comments coming. I'll if we have time, we should have time. I'll circle back to them at the end, but I'm going to get into a little bit of my my monologue here and share what I really feel like is ready to come through. Okay. There's a certain state that when we fully become one with the master path, okay, when we are living and operating and being masters in the state of mastery. Okay, so mastery is a state. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's a state. It's a way of relating to everything. When we talk about metaphysical mastery, it's a way of relating to everything in our world through a metaphysical lens. And when I speak of the state of mastery, there's a commitment to doing that. There's a commitment to viewing every circumstance, every situation, every person, place, thing, and event in our reality through that metaphysical lens and learning, committing to, I mean, we've already learned, hopefully, right? Hopefully we've learned to, now committing to applying what we've learned and raising everything that we encounter up to that level of love that Neville and others speak of, okay? When we're on this path and we have committed to being masters, really committing to expressing mastery in our lives, there's really this feeling or this perception when you arrive at the state of mastery, that the whole reason why you are placed in a physical body on earth is to do this. The whole purpose for incarnation is to be on the path of mastery. It becomes a frame or a perspective on life itself. The very gift of life itself exists for the purpose of expressing mastery. It is the master state. The person who perceives the world is like literally everything that is occurring in my reality is an opportunity to express mastery. That is the master. That is the person who is on the master path. That is the person who's expressing mastery. It's a frame of reference. It does not mean that we always get it right. It does not mean that we don't sometimes snooze, meaning lose lucidity, meaning react to whatever's happening in the mirrors, meaning forget our true identity or forget, the nature of reality. It doesn't imply that we never get it wrong. What it does imply, what saying that we are on the mastery path does imply is a commitment to a specific perception. Okay, so in this case, the perception is all that I behold, although it appears to be without, it is within. It is within my own imagination. This world that appears to be outside and around me actually exists in imagination. And I am the incarnation of consciousness itself, observing itself through the perspective of the 3D. And also through that portal of my imagination, I can perceive any level, I can perceive any dimension of experience. When I commit to the master path and I begin to rise in consciousness, the nature of that commitment is to remain faithful. It's like it's like you're swearing an oath. I don't think you would actually, you can swear an oath. You can. I've done it. I've done it. It's swearing an oath. It's kind of a weird way of saying it, but I was like, you don't have to actually swear. No, actually, there's an exercise in one of the courses that I taught at the School of Imagination. The last course, the Masterclass, like the take all of Neville's teachings, 99 days. This is how you apply these teachings to really build a solid foundation for being on the mastery path. It's like literally a mastery path course, and it goes step by step, module by module, like unlocking different parts of life to really get a clear integration of this wisdom into, daily moment by moment unfolding reality. And one of the exercises that we did live in this class was called the Conscious Power Protocol. And it was a ritual of sorts. Ritual is a weird word too. It's a protocol. That's why I called it the Conscious Power Protocol. It is a protocol for saying out loud with a full presence, full intention, full awareness of what the words mean. Essentially saying, I am buying the pearl of great price and I am canceling all of my contracts with the mirrors. Any way in which I was giving away power to outside authorities or to external deities or to really external anything. That was really what it was. And we went through and named a whole bunch of them. And we actually made it multidimensional and from outside of time. So we said, in any agreements or any contracts that I, even in other lives, that are parallel, that are existing now, anywhere in my being, anywhere in my beingness, where I have given away my power to something that is a false god. Okay, remember, this is Josiah speaking, and King Josiah in the Bible. That the archetype that is my namesake is the one that destroys all of the false gods, the false prophets, the false teachers. Murders them, scatters their bones, right? Gives them a disrespected burial, not even a burial, right? Disrespects them because they're false. Okay. So it's like, that's a state. And so we, in this Conscious Power Protocol, we are casting out and casting away from us these false gods and idols and destroying them with our words. And, very much akin to what it says in the Bible, that King Josiah did. And then taking the power back. I take the power back from all external cause. I take the power back from the illusion. I take the power back from false gods and return it to the one and only true God, I am. So yes, you can, in a manner of speaking, swear an oath. I didn't really call it swearing an oath. I called it a protocol. But it was quite literally a statement that we read out loud and stated with our full power and authority. I don't know how many other people do that. Is it necessary? No, but it felt like in the process of really structuring out a journey through Neville's teachings to integrate it into life. I mean, why not take that opportunity to actually say it out loud, claim it, claim the power back. Okay. So that's what the core nugget of the master path is. It's taking the power back. And like I said, to say that you're on the path of mastery doesn't mean you don't get it wrong. Doesn't mean that you sometimes forget or fall asleep, and kind of snooze and give your power away. And doing so doesn't make you not on the mastery path. Okay. The key of being on the mastery path is, am I committed to really being the master? Like am I really committed to this perception? Am I really committed to, even if I do fall asleep, am I committed to bringing it back? If I do get knocked over, am I committed to getting back up and trying again? Right? Am I committed to really learning to live my entire life this way, from this wisdom? Am I really committed to being my best self? Am I really committed to being the fullness of my potential, knowing my true identity? Okay, without like having to put labels on, what that is. Am I committed to finding it out? Am I committed to constantly up-leveling my imagination, meaning raising to the level of love as we're taught? And if I am, then I'm on the master path. And if I have quibbles and I'm wiggling back and forth and, well, maybe this, maybe imagination works, maybe it doesn't, or, well, I imagine sometimes, but then also, the government, like, they can do stuff and like really affect me, or, the economy, like if the economy goes south, then, it doesn't matter what I imagine, I'm going to be poor, like if you're like lukewarm, right? That's what the Bible says. Like, if be hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. You have to be, if you're going to be a master, you have to set aside all of that and say, no, I'm buying the pearl of great price. And what do you buy it with? You buy it with all those beliefs. You trade them in as valueless, Neville says, but you trade them in. You're not going to get paid anything for them because they were valueless, but you're trading them in and you're getting back that pearl of great price. You sold every belief in an external cause. And you're bringing in that pearl of great price, which is a commitment. And you're saying, I'm going to prove this to be true in my life. I'm going to be the demonstrator of this power. And that's the state. That's the creator state. That's the mastery path. And when we do that, that is when we rise. That is when we rise. I've been investing a lot of time into this particular narration from Neville that I will be releasing for channel members probably as quickly as tonight. You'll get the early preview, and then for everyone else, it'll come at some point tomorrow. And in this lecture, it's so clear. It's I'm at the point in my narration career where I'm really going after the absolute best of his teachings. I want to give my voice, my time, my energy, and it's like, so I sit down, I make sure I'm in this state, right? Because I'm the soul, I'm the voice, I'm animating these words. So I'm sitting down, I'm getting in this state, I'm making sure that I'm aligned. And then I'm recording, and that's whatever the length is you see on the video. And then I'm editing, and that's at least that length times 2, right? So it's now doubled the amount of time. And then because I've transcribed all of these lectures with that tool, because now I want people to be able to see the words as well as hear them. I use an AI tool to transcribe it, of course, but it's not perfect. So I have to comb over it to fix spelling errors. You would think AI couldn't make spelling errors. Well, it does. Sometimes it chooses the wrong words, and I enunciate very clearly, but still sometimes it chooses the wrong words. It adds words sometimes that aren't there. So again, combing over it with the fine tooth, just to make sure it's as close to perfect as I can possibly make it. There's some punctuation stuff, all of that. So like, if I'm going to do all of that, I want to make sure that it's really the best of the best of Neville. Okay. So that's what this lecture is. Like I said, it's coming quickly. And in it, he was really making so clear through his presentation what it seems like a lot of people miss about the teachings. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. So sometimes on my channel, I see comments to the effect of, imagination doesn't work. I imagined, this, whatever, and nothing happened. Every once in a while, I get a comment like that. Now, I just get the comment. I have no idea about the person or if it's even a person, because they say that 90% of what happens on the internet are bots. So I don't even know if it's a person. I really have no context is the point I'm trying to make. But I will say that if any of you hearing the sound of my voice in this moment have had this thought like, oh, well, I imagined this, but it didn't happen. In this lecture, it's made very clear as to why that's the case. Okay. So basically what he's saying, he's talking about occupying the state, moving in to the state. And he says, you can go into your imagination and you can, create a state, and then you enjoy it for a moment. And then your eyes open, you turn, Esau comes back from hunting, right? He explains what that means. In case you don't know, he explains what that means. You're back into the sensory person, you're back into your 3D, you're back into your human senses. And that state just kind of drifts away. He says very clearly, he says, if you really want to change your life, you can't just visit such a state once, for entertainment purposes and then just let it go. That's a daydream, okay? What he says is you actually have to change your habitual state. You have to change where you live. Here, where you live in your mind, in your being. You have to change your home address from the previous state to the new state. So then I started thinking about all of the people, celebrities who have alter egos. Okay, we've heard about some of these. I'm not going to name them all. I'm sure even just what I said has already brought several to your awareness, and I'm not going to call them out in this moment. But there are many, many celebrities that their normal, natural, human, born name that they got from their parents and identity that they grew up with was not conducive to the life of celebrity, was not conducive to fame and fortune and really like everything that is required of someone who is very well known. And so they invented an alter ego. They invented another person that they would share an identity with. And that person, that being, that character that they, was their alter, was that state, was the state of being known, of being celebrated, celebrity, of being recognized, of fame, of fortune, of incredible performances. They would literally like cast off their I'm going to call it a local identity, and they would put on like a costume their performance identity. And then that's who they become. And they didn't just do that once. They built a career based on their alter ego, their alter personality, their alter state, the state that was aligned with this thing, this way of thinking, this way of being. So we have examples all around us is what I'm saying here. We have examples all around us of people who do this. And yet some of us potentially still say things like, oh, well, I tried to imagine this thing, but it didn't work. That's because you didn't become it. You didn't actually move in. You stayed there for a night, like an Airbnb. You rented a mansion, right? You stayed there overnight, one night on Airbnb, and then you got out the next morning and you went back to wherever you were living before. Okay, that's not how you do it. If you're really going to change everything, you really have to change your habitual home. You have to move in. Your mailing address changes in your imagination. You become a new person. You can call that an alter ego. You could even invent a new name. You don't have to. That's what the celebrities seem to have done. I think you should probably give it a name within your own mind, even if you never share that name with anybody else. Name is like a handle, reference point. Keep coming back to this idea of really committing. I feel like that's the key thing that I feel inspired to communicate. I don't know who needed to hear it. Maybe if you feel like you needed to hear it, just let me know in the chat. Maybe if you're like, yeah, maybe this message was for me. Maybe it's for more than one of you. But like I said, I felt compelled to come on here and talk about this tonight. So I'm doing my best to clearly deliver a message. It comes back to this commitment. Are you doing it, or are you just playing around? Are you all in? Are you committed? Are you fully here for it? From time to time, I take clients, one-on-one clients. I'm very particular about who I coach one-on-one. I really look for specific types of people that I know I can massively leverage to big breakthroughs. And one of the things that I've revisited several times with clients that I sit with one-on-one is this idea of making a test. Making a test. Neville says, the scriptures say, test yourselves. Put it to the extreme test. Well, that's what we do in these one-on-ones. And so I tell them, I'm like, look, you can't be half in, half out with me. You cannot sit on this call with me and be half in, half out. If we're going to do this, you have to be all the way in, and you have to commit to being 100% in for at least a specific amount of time. Okay. So we set a specific amount of time. Maybe it's, 30 days, maybe it's 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Okay. It's usually at least the length that we've agreed to for the coaching. Okay. So if I'm sitting and I'm coaching or mentoring them, at least for the amount of time that we're going to sit together, you have to be all in, and you have to say, for this amount of time, I'm going to go 100% all in on my imagination. And I am either going to prove this right, and if I do that, I am now free for forever because I've broken through and now I've proved it to myself. Or I'm going to prove it hilariously wrong. But either way, there will be no question left because I am all in. I am 100% committed. Okay, so that's this mastery path. I found myself contemplating the master state, the master mood. Okay, so we're told to catch the mood. Like, what is that one feeling that applies to everything? Like that one feeling, that one state of being, that one mood that every aspect of our life responds to. Like, what is that feeling? Because and I get these questions too. You're like, oh, I have multiple desires. Yes, we all have multiple desires. Do I do one meditation for each of them? Well, you can. And you can also really find a feeling that's really that master key feeling. And I think I know what it is. I think I've found it. And I don't think I'm unique in finding it. I just think that, I think I've aligned with it in a way where I can talk about it and share it and maybe even pass it along. Help you catch the mood. So yeah, I just glanced out the chat. Francisco, in the zone. Yes. Okay. Very similar. Yes. I think that's another way of saying what I'm about to say. So the feeling is essentially this: I have arrived. I have arrived. I have arrived. 3 words, I have arrived, but rushing forward from that energy is all of my multidimensional soul presence here, now, in the present. I have arrived. I have arrived. I am here. I am now. I am awake. I am aware. I am lucid. I am present. I have arrived. Very similar to that. I mean, it's essentially the same feeling, being in the zone, because I think when you have arrived and you brought all of your power and wisdom to bear, I think the natural result of that is being in the zone, the flow state. I have arrived. Okay, so let's say you have a health issue. You've been experiencing a health issue. Okay. I have arrived brings the fullness of your multidimensional identity, all that you are, that light, the light that you are, that no shadow can exist in the presence of this light. I have arrived. The shadow of an illness cannot stand, cannot remain in the presence of that light. I have arrived. Let's say your focus is finances. Okay. The shadow of lack in finances cannot stand in the presence of I am and I have arrived. I think the application of this goes on, and I won't continue to expand upon it, because I think really now the invitation is for you to find that feeling for yourself. I feel it in my heart, and I feel it expanding. I feel like I get a little taller. I definitely feel I get brighter. I feel my energy really start to pump and to circulate when I really tune into this mood. So the invitation is find it. Find the feeling, because it's just words, right? But the words are an anchor for a feeling. So just hearing me say the words, you might be like, yeah, it's the feeling. Find the feeling. So maybe the words are different for you, but it's the feeling. So find the feeling. Okay, that's the idea. And then learn to bring that feeling with you into everything that you do. You know, you're walking into a job interview, right? I have arrived. Like, whoa, right? You land in, you're in San Antonio, and you're going to go on the Joe Rogan podcast and have, 300 million people hear what you have to say, right? And so you're sitting outside in your car, getting fired up, right? How are you going to walk into that studio? I have arrived. First date. I have arrived, right? About to run out on the field and play the game of your life. Like, what's the feeling? I have arrived. And it's like right? I, the greater me, the bigger me, the vaster me, the fullness of me, the everything that I am. That is what has arrived. I have arrived. This is no longer, local identity. This is everything that I am is here now. And that is power. That is compelling power. Okay. Time to open up our beverage. Welcome to Neville and Chill, everybody. Had to get that out right there in the first 40 minutes of the stream. Tonight we're drinking HIYO. HIYO is one of these euphorics, social tonics that I keep sharing on here. I am not officially an affiliate of any of these brands. However, I did just learn how to affiliate with Amazon. So I'll put a link in the description. If you decide you want to try it and you click that link, at least I'll get a little commission on that, as a part of the favor of turning you on to it. Okay, so this is HIYO. This is blackberry lemon. They call it an organic social tonic. It has adaptogens, nootropics, botanicals, and the list is quite long. But what I really like about it is that it has ashwagandha, passion flower, L-theanine, and lion's mane, among other things. But those are the key things, which I think is it's really quite tasty. And I don't know what itch it is that it scratches, but there's an itch and it definitely scratches it. So there's something that's very nice and enjoyable. So to all of you who are arriving with me in this moment, cheers. Okay. All right. Time to look at your comments. Let's see what we got going on. All right. Francisco, I only became interested in manifestation having succeeded at it in certain areas. So the goal is to succeed in all areas. Sounds like you're on the mastery path, Francisco. Yes, that's the idea. So it becomes, instead of, whack-a-mole for situations in your life, it becomes, what is that master state for me? What is that master state of alignment? And then, learning to apply the lens of metaphysics to literally everything that happens. Monica says, change your home to step into your chosen reality. Yes. So if you're just staying there one night, overnight, like I use the Airbnb analogy, it doesn't actually change your reality. It has to become the most habitual place you return to. And one of the key points that Neville makes in this lecture that's going to be published shortly, he says, you make it your default state by making it completely normal and natural, to the point where when you have all the evidence for it in the 3D, it doesn't surprise you. It's just normal like that. Yeah, of course my life is amazing in these ways because I'm this amazing person. And it's an ego statement that's just like, whatever, of course the mirror is matching my face, right? That's the attitude. It's like, yeah, of course. It doesn't even, it's not this like astonishing thing. Obviously you can still certainly find gratitude and appreciation for it. I mean, that's really part of the master state. It's like just really existing in gratitude and appreciation in general. But it's not gonna, they say manifestations don't break the fourth wall. Actually, I've said that. I don't know if anybody else said that or not. I say that in my Daily Neville. I said that manifestations don't break the fourth wall, meaning that they don't, they don't like really, usually it's not like a lightning bolt, that like strikes out of nowhere. It's not usually super dramatic like that. Usually it's, when you look back, you'll be like, oh yeah, I met this person and then they connected me to this person and I got this job interview and then I got the job and then I got the promotion and now I lead the division and now I'm getting paid $1 million a year and now I have my dream house and, and then I met my lover and, like, it's just like, you can tell a whole story about how it happened. But it's perfectly normal and natural because it's just the state. It's not a shocker, right? Commitment and discipline. Yes. Those words sound so heavy. There's joy too. Okay. I just want to throw that. There's joy too. But like, for some reason, coming out of the gate in this live stream, I had to really nail down this idea of commitment. Like, are you in or are you not in? Like, are you going to do this or are you not going to do this? Are you going to prove it or are you not going to prove it? Don't sit on the fence. Like, if you're going to do it, jump all the way in. Like, that's right. That's the key message. Roxy says, yes, this is helpful. It's what I was attempting to ask the last guest. I think the last guest was Frank, who's in the chat. Kelly says, I needed to hear it. This is my first live I've caught, and it was after I cried in bed with my kids, wondering why I still think it's so hard with them, when I saw myself as being the calm and patient parent. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you found something in that wisdom to speak to you. Yeah. There's definitely something there, and I'm there's I'm getting a couple things in my intuition about this, but it comes down to a clarity. There's an opportunity to really get a clarity about the preferred state, but not. I mean, it starts with you, right? But also like these other people, children or otherwise, other people are also existing in a state relative to us, and so it starts by us putting ourselves in the correct state and moving in, right? Changing our mailing address. And also we have the opportunity to recast and remold, reshape the state of others. And I would imagine, that with children, that could definitely, depending on, their ages and everything else, that could happen actually pretty quickly. I don't really know, but there's definitely something there. And I thank you for sharing. That's the most important thing. Thank you for sharing that. Jackie says, just as Neville says, I did it. I am doing it. And I will continue to do it until that which I have done is perfectly externalized in my world. That's the state. That's the state of full commitment. I have arrived. I'm all the way in. I'm doing this. I notice that when failure is not an option, I always get what I visualized. That's because your higher self has your back. You can trust it. That's a theme that seems to be coming up a lot lately. Trusting, to use Neville's language, the Father, right? Which is consciousness itself, really trusting yourself. But it's not like, it is also, your local self, but it's your bigger self. It's your greater self. Like, you have your own back. Like you wouldn't just abandon yourself here. You love this. You love this character. Maybe you feel that way all the time. Maybe sometimes you have doubt in your humanness. I think that's normal and natural too. Even Jesus on the cross, right? The cross, the human body, said, Father, why have you forsaken me? Okay, so I think that's an indication that it's very human to feel abandoned, but that's only an illusion. And we always have the opportunity to remind ourselves that we have our own back. So yeah, if I look back over my life, I've always had my own back. Even when in my local identity, I didn't know where the next was going to come from. The power that I am, that is greater than the body, than my local self, provides. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. In the zone is the feeling for me, Francisco says. Yes. Super blessed and satisfied. The feeling of relief. Okay, so the feeling of relief is also a very potent one, because that, particularly when you're applying an imaginal act to a specific situation, because the whole reason why you're imagining for a situation is because you feel a sense of tension. Okay, so it's like there's something that you want, and so that creates this tension. So you imagine that you have what you desire, and then the key feeling that goes along with that is relief. This idea of I have arrived, that's the master state that overrides everything else, right? So it's like that's the place to just exist in on a daily basis. But when imagining for specific situations or scenarios, things that have happened, relief is definitely a go-to item. Roxy says, how do you advise when one gets so intense not to have the tense feeling? When I decide to prove anything, I find nothing happens and I feel overwhelmed. Is there another step to it? So for me, the step for me is heart coherence, aligning my physiology with my neurology and with my state. So heart coherence. So coming back into the heart, coming back into those fundamental emotions of gratitude and appreciation, and aligning my whole center of my physical being with that. That's going to release tension right then and there. That's what that exists to do. It changes your neurochemical situation that's happening in your brain. It brings you back to a baseline and really aligns all of your aspects to a high vibrational emotion, which is gratitude and appreciation. That's the best answer I have for how to deal with an intense or tense feeling. Heart coherence. You've probably heard me talk about this before, but in case you haven't, you can just look it up online. There's even on YouTube a lot of people doing heart coherence meditations. And if you're a member of the Mastermind, I have a list of meditations that I've posted in the members area, including heart coherence meditations. So you have a lot of resources available to you to help you practice with the state. So that's the other step that I feel like might be there for you. And because it shifts to, so gratitude is the state of receiving, right? So because it shifts you into gratitude, it's that I think something happens then, right? Because now you're ready to receive it. So I think that's the bottom line. Mike, longtime channel member and enrollee at the School of Imagination. Mike, nice to see you, Mike. Mike says, thank you, Josiah. I came to this exact realization this weekend. Am I all in living and being the man I know I am, or am I just occupying that state for moments, merely moments, just moments, and then expecting the shift? Mm-hmm. Carrie says, I'm just in time. you popped in just for the really good stuff, huh? Tap into the themes of the feeling: freedom, love. Yes. I have arrived. Monica. Yes. Catch the mood. Yes. Francisco and Fran Angelico. Yes. Serenity, no struggle, no labor. It is done. Yes. That answers it. Thanks, Josiah. Okay. Beautiful. Good stuff. Okay. So I had the idea to create a video series for YouTube, meaning the public YouTube, doing case studies of these celebrities that have created altars. And I haven't committed to doing the video series yet. It's just an idea that I've been playing with. But my goal would be to really bring a high vibe feel to it. Even though some of these people, I wouldn't necessarily describe as high vibe people. But even if they're not high, I mean, because you can arrive at the awareness of being the master of your reality without also graduating into love. Although your power as a creator is limited when you come from a place of not love. If you are in ego and selfishness, self-servingness, I should say, more than selfishness, because Neville even says everything is selfish, because if it's I am, right, so like everything is for me. But if you're in self-servingness at the expense of others, or just like low vibe stuff, right? Like not in a place of recognizing oneness, but rather in a place of like really trying to be, not in the golden rule, just really taking advantage of other people or whatever, like low vibe stuff. You can still manifest. I mean, we all manifest our lives every moment of every day anyways, right? So you can still manifest in everything. but your overall power is limited because the true power is love. And so anything that is not love is only ever going to go so far. And all people, regardless of where they are or how they're expressing now, will ultimately awaken in love, because that's the true identity of every human being. Is our source is love. So it's something I've been thinking about doing. There's several examples I could do. There's athletes that I'm aware of that have done it. There's, musicians, artists, performers, actors, that type of stuff. Just a lot of, celebrities. I think really I'd also be very curious to know of business titans, people of tremendous influence, billionaires, or captains of industry who have used altars to really achieve exceptional levels of performance. So I'm going to do some more research on that. But I think that, really bringing forth these personalities and tying it into what Neville teaches about becoming the new man, becoming the new person, becoming the new identity, moving into the state, making it your default occupancy. I think that could be, if nothing else, entertaining, but hopefully, in the, it's edutainment, right? So certainly entertainment, but like hopefully educational as well, to like see some examples and maybe inspirational. It can encourage us to do something similar. Okay, what else? Okay, so all right, I'm going to do a quick recap and then I think we'll start to wrap up. Okay, so starting next week, I'm going to have special guests on Neville and Chill. Angela next week, and then the following week will be Tamer, sharing their stories of quantum leaping in their lives and manifesting each other as soulmates, and starting a family. And just, they have an amazing story. I caught a little bit of it when we kind of did our pre-show interview. They have a phenomenal story. It's incredible how everything came together for them. So we're going to do that. Jackie, what is my favorite book from Neville? Okay, so this is a very difficult question because I'm a huge fan of everything that Neville writes, and it does seem to change from time to time what my favorite is. I will say that the first daily Neville that I did, the series, have any of you seen my daily Neville? It's like, I think I ran it from 2021 to 2022, and I did, I think, 5 seasons. But that was a while ago, so I don't even know if any of you have seen any of that. The first one that I did was The Power of Awareness, Daily Neville. And so Daily Neville is a daily series, Monday through Friday, is 20 minutes or less, and we would go through and break down the chapters of Neville books. Like I said, I think I did 4 or 5 seasons of this. And Power of Awareness definitely stands out to me as one of my favorites. The other one is Out of This World. That's a phenomenal one as well. I'm going to say those two. I appreciate everything that he's put out. I think I've read it all at this point. But those two, Power of Awareness and Out of This World, are standouts for me. Frank remembers Daily Neville. Yeah. Roxy, you watched from season 1. Okay, cool. I didn't know if I was like completely, yeah. Okay, cool. They haven't really surfaced on my back end as being, is getting a lot of clicks recently. When I first put them out, they would get a lot of attention because, they're being released every day. But I haven't really seen any interaction or comments on them in a while. So it's all been Sunday Mystery School and the narrations lately. Cool. Well, I'm glad I'm glad many of you have seen them and that you enjoyed them. Awesome. Okay. So like, as I was saying, so next to Neville and Children, we have special guests. And then this Sunday, we're moving into the Sunday Mystery School. It's the 1948 lessons, the Masterclass Q&A with Neville. That's what we're going to be talking about next for the next episode of that live. And then I know that Sunday Mystery School is going to continue at least for a while. I feel like in my soul it's not done. But I'm not really sure what the next material is. now that we've covered the masterclass of all masterclasses, it's like, well, where do we go from here? I feel like we're 40 feet from the summit here. And once we do the Q&A, we'll be at the summit. And then it's like, well, where could we possibly go from here? But I'm completely open to the divine inspiration of figuring that out, what the next material will be. So Sunday Mystery School, I do plan for it to continue. I just don't know where it'll go after the Q&A. So I guess we will find out. It's part of the adventure. Very cool. Okay. So yeah, we're going to do that. Let's see. Any other final comments? Final comments for this live stream. Yeah, I have one more thing to share. Okay. So this is the sort of thing I'll share more about later, but I just feel inspired to say something about it. So I found Neville in 2016, and immediately my whole life began to change. My whole life, everything about my life began to change. Huge upgrades in every area. I think a lot of you can relate to, like, when you find truth like this, the evolution just really reaches a fever pitch. And that's exactly what I've experienced. And then at some point in around the end of 2022, I realized I'd kind of reached like this temporary peak in my life. I really had everything that I desired. I was like, I'm just kind of like there. I have arrived. That was it. I have arrived. And so I really felt like this call to adventure. I think the analogy is, they say, living, the monk that never leaves the monastery has, it's very easy to be a monk at the monastery, right? It's very, very easy when your whole life is conducive to being a certain way and you really have no evolutionary pressure. It's very easy to be a certain way. And, I kind of reached this place where I was like, man, I really have everything that I desire, and except one thing, right? Except one desire, which is to really put myself to the test, to really leave the monastery and to get into the dojo and really, really start to practice. So that took the form of switching careers. Not late stage. I'm still young, but I've had a 20-year career. Okay. I've had 20 years in a career. So I decided to switch careers. My 20-year career was teaching, presenting, sales training, all that, all the training and teaching type stuff. And obviously I'm still doing that, through YouTube and Sunday Mystery School and spaces like this or whatever. But I kind of set aside the School of Imagination, which was, really the kind of the pinnacle of my teaching career. Kind of set that aside. I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm ready for a new challenge. And so, I switched careers, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something that, quite honestly, not that many people can do. And I'm going to really use my imagination to ascend a very difficult mountain in terms of career, a very challenging mountain. And I'm going to really put it to the test. I'm going to leave the monastery. I'm not going to be the monk that just hangs out, and maybe in another lifetime I would be that way, but not this lifetime. Here I'm really here to test my edge and to really ignite the fullness of my potential. And so to do that, I really had to introduce some evolutionary pressure into my life. And so the means that I chose to do that was, well, I'm going to teach myself a new career. And so that journey began about 2 years ago now. I'm about 2 years into it. And it true to intention has really put what I know and what I am to the test. as evolutionary pressure has really required me to get out of my comfort zone, test my edge, push my limits, and then get comfortable with discomfort so that my comfort zone expands, and then test my edge again, and then find that, and then, get uncomfortable, and then get comfortable with the discomfort, and then expand again. And that's really been the theme for me, is these past 2 years in particular. It's like really committing to being all in on the mastery path, and not just when it's easy. Like I said, I didn't have to do this. I was fine the way I was. I chose to do this. And why? Because this lifetime for me is all about igniting the fullness of my potential. And so to do that, I had to leave the monastery as a metaphor for my life. Like I said, I kind of got to this point where I was like, my life is awesome. I've got everything that I could possibly, I've got everything. I'm great. And now it's time to really push and to put these teachings to the test, and to find that new mansion and move into it with a boldness, with a brazen impudence. And so that's what I've been doing. And like I said, I'll share more about that part of the journey in the future. But I want to share that because, if I feel like it puts a little bit different context, when you hear me talking about, going all in and committing and using imagination, and really I'm 100% in. I think it adds a little bit of context to understand that that's what I'm doing. And I've done it in kind of a radical way where I've really, for the purpose of igniting my potential, really put it to the test, really put my money where my mouth is, really committed to, not just finding a place of comfort and then chilling for the rest of my life, but really committed to, let's see how far we can take it. Let's see how far we can go. Let's use our imagination and carve our destiny above and beyond what we previously thought was possible. Cool. Yes. Kelly, I love this comment. I discovered Neville in 2019, asking myself, I wonder how people who don't follow astrology live their lives. Because at the time I was heavily following it. Then I came across Neville on YouTube. That's amazing. I love, what an awesome share. Yes. Yeah. It kind of puts everything into a different frame. It really does. This power of imagination. I mean, it's no coincidence that you found Neville out of that, but what an amazing story. That's really cool. Awesome. Okay. That's going to do it for this episode of Neville and Chill. A little bit spontaneous here. Felt like there was really something here to share with you all. And I trust that the seeds have been planted. Whatever, I manifested you, you manifested me. We're in each other's dreams, and happily so. You all are amazing. You're one of the favorite parts of my dreams. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being such an amazing community. And I hope I get to meet some or all of you someday in the flesh. I very much look forward to that. I envision that on the regular. So that day's coming. Like an imagination summit, at a stadium somewhere where everybody who is awake in this way can converge and share energy and get inspired. Something like that. We'll see. Continue to build that in our imaginations. Until next time, my friends, imagine wisely. And I will see you all on Sunday for Sunday Mystery School. All right. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.